Hey there, it's Sandy Freshy. Happy Human Design New Year. Today is January 22nd, 2019, and this video is actually about the Human Design New Year. I really want to give you a visual of how the new year is calculated so that you can understand the energies that we're working with and how that may affect you in terms of your own chart. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and share my transit chart in mandala form and explain to you as simply as I can what you're seeing in terms of my chart, and I'll give you an example of how this new year energy is affecting me. Okay, so here is my body graph in green. My chart is actually outlined in green on this mandala. And the transits, the planetary transits, are in purple on my body graph. So we're going to look at the purple astrological glyph for the sun on the mandala. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the mandala and how your particular human design chart is calculated, that's actually in a course that I have called How to Decipher Your Human Design Chart. So I'm going to leave a link if this has piqued your interest. But for this particular video, let's look at this purple glyph here that represents the sun. And today it has moved into the gate 41, which is the gate of decrease. And I'll explain what that means in a moment. But I want you to notice how the mandala is actually connected to the astrology signs. So we're in the astrological sign of Aquarius at this time. So the sun is in an Aquarian gate, which is the gate 41. So let's talk about this energy from the outside in on this mandala. We've got Aquarius. Aquarius is actually an air sign, even though it is the sign of the water bear. It's actually an air sign, and it has this energy of idealism about it. So the gate 41 decrease or contraction is about having the very beginning impulse of a new dream. And let's look at that in terms of where the gate 41 is on the human design chart. It's down here in the root center, and the root center is this very subtle, motorized, pulsing center. So the energy of the root pulses on and it pulses off, pulses on, it pulses off. And when it's there, you have this sort of initiating kind of energy, but it's not there for long, and it goes, comes and it goes. And so you can kind of get the feel of that, right? That here we are in this dreaminess that's sort of being fueled by an energy that sort of sputters. You know, it sputters on, it sputters off. And there's not a lot of push in that to get this dreaminess up to a place, if you follow the channels here, up to this place where it really catches fire with the gate 30, which is the I Ching known as the clinging fire, catches fire with emotions and moves up to the throat for expression. This is all about birthing the dream of the next new experience, having that little inkling of what's possible and the vision that can form around it, but not really having the energy yet for that to materialize. And if we look at this in terms of the season, we're looking at the sun shedding light on this theme of it's time to plant seeds that have to germinate for a while before we get to experience the blooming of the plant, of the energy, of the experience, of whatever it is that really brings our vision to fruition. So this is a very fertile time energetically, but it's not a time for action. Hence the sense of contraction, of limitation, but it's not a limitation that you need to fight with or resist. It's really the limitation that allows you to plant the seeds water it with love, and allow it to grow and release your expectations around it. So just get that into the sense of where you are in your creative process as well. You know, this time of year, especially when we look at the big push, the big collective push of the new year, January 1st, and I know a lot of you don't resonate with that. You don't feel quite ready on January 1st to move into your new dream, to make your goals and your dreams come true at this point and to manifest them. And even at the beginning of this energy of the new dream, there's really not the energy to bring that to fruition yet. But this is the time to plant those seeds. This is the time where you plant your ideas, your visions, you begin to do your research, you begin to look at what pieces and components are necessary for you to realize that vision later on in the year when there's that energy to push it forward. Now let's look at this in general in terms of how transits can affect you across the board. So if you notice down here, here's my chart again. I'll point it out in green. I have the gate 30 defined. And here comes the 41, this gate of limitation and contraction and dreaminess and wanting to plant those new seeds. And it was kind of funny last night because I began this conversation with a friend where we were talking about if we could have anything we want, what would we really, really want? And I'll tell you that I know for the next week, this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to feel pressure around what's my vision, what's my dream, how do I bring it to fruition, and also the energy of not really being able to see what that is yet. But I have all of this desire in the clinging fire that really kind of contributes to a feeling of emotion, amplified emotion. And if you could see my whole chart, you would know that I am not emotionally defined, or if you've gone back and looked at some of my videos on emotions, you know I'm not emotionally defined. So this puts a lot of energy or a lot of pressure, amplified energy around the emotion of bringing my desires to fruition, when actually I don't even really have a clear picture of how that seed that I am planting is going to grow and develop. So it's kind of a push me, pull you, or it can be if I'm up here in my head. But what I know to do with this energy now of the 41 is to just allow myself to drop in seeds, to make notes of my desires, and to visualize or take some time to really feel into what it's going to feel like when my new crop of creations come to fruition and into full bloom. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do with the gate 41 as well, is to feel into the feeling without being pressured to do anything about it at this point, but just know that those feelings and those emotions that you can have around your full bloom desires, your desires that have come into full bloom and have fully matured, when you feel that, you can use that energy to kind of fertilize the ground, to nurture and nourish the ground that you've planted the seeds of your new dream into. So mechanically speaking, anytime you have a transit of any of the planets in a gate that is not defined in your chart, you're going to feel that amplified energy, as though perhaps you need to do something about it, or it's going to be right there in your face, like with the sun especially, because I visualize or I see the sun as the theme that has light being shown onto it in order for me to be able to work with it and see it in a clear way. That's my interpretation. There are other ways of interpreting what the sun energy is when we're looking at transits, but that's kind of a simplified way of understanding that when the sun moves through a gate, it's shining light on that gate. And at the beginning of this new journey around the sun, and let's look at this in terms of how we track the transits around the mandala. The planets move around the mandala in a counterclockwise direction, and if we're tracking the sun will move in another 6 days or so to the 19 and then to the 13 after that, and it will shine light on that theme that is kind of up in the forefront for you to experience and to see. It's not that you have to do anything with that, especially if you're taking in that energy into your openness. It's just for you to experience and to work with while it's there to gain wisdom about it. So as we start our human design journey, our journey around the mandala of what it is that we're going to be shown in this next year, know that the dream has just been dreamt or is beginning to be dreamed within this week, and that as we move around into each of these themes, that dream will continue to grow and eventually take shape and manifest into the experiences that your vision and your authentic direction in life calls you toward. So enjoy the energy of the 41 this week and the beginning of the new year to start planting those seeds for what it is that will come into full bloom later on in our journey around the mandala. Now, I know I promised those of you who were on the live stream on Sunday that this would be kind of like part 2 for our group gathering, our group energy alignment gathering. I'm actually going to do that in another video as a quick meditation, as a quick way to focus and align with the energies of the 41. So when I get that done, I will attach the link to the description so that you can go straight to that video after you watch this one. So until the next time, be well, enjoy the birth of the energy of your new dream, and know that you don't have to do anything about it. Just plant the seeds and let go of your expectations and allow nature to take its course and allow your inner nature to flow with that course of how we all are playing together in the energies of the collective. So be well, and we'll talk again soon.